Ah, the Gulf Coast of Florida. Sandy white beaches, crystal blue water, and, oh yes, the occasional little green man.
The Gulf Breeze sightings covered a period of time starting in 1987 and running all the way into the middle 1990s.
One of the main witnesses who started the entire thing was a fellow by the name of Ed Walters, who took these amazing pictures of a UFO at low altitude. It had rows of windows and metallic shape, and was hovering next to the road, shooting down a beam of light. He claimed that a beam of light hit him.
Ed didn't go into the light. Instead, he broke out his camera and took some photos that still impress UFO investigator Phil Imbrogno, a science teacher who has studied UFO sightings for years.
Typical what we call a contactee, producing all of these amazing, clear photos.
The contactee then contacted the local papers. A UFO phenomenon was born.
That caused a number of witnesses to come forward and say that they had seen the same thing. Well, this sort of alerted the world, you might say, to what's going on in Gulf Breeze.
Over the next few years, more stories of strange happenings blew out of Gulf Breeze.
A new series of events began that involved things going through the sky. Typically, a red light would suddenly appear up in the sky and travel along some distance and then suddenly become white and pulsate. I decided to go back to Gulf Breeze and see what was going on.
It's moving over us.
The night of September 16th, 1991, I was out with other people, and we were just looking around, trying to see anything that might be unusual up in the sky. All of a sudden, a lady yelled, "There it is." I just looked up, and sure enough, here's this dot of light.
Oh, it is a ring, for sure. And it's just sitting there.
And I see that this isn't just a single light. This is a ring, points of light. And I counted them. It was a ring of 8 lights.
But skeptics say the lights in the sky are simply someone putting on a hoax.
A lot of these appear to be like a balloon on a flare hanging from a balloon, or possibly from a kite being pulled by a boat on the river.
And those photos that Ed Walters took, the ones that started the Gulf Breeze phenomenon, well, questions developed about those as well.
The people who, a few years later, were living in the house that Ed Walters was living in at the time that these photos were taken, found a little plastic model UFO that matches perfectly with some of the photos that he took.
Ed Walters denies ever building that little spaceship and says it was later proven that the model was made years after he took his photos. Despite all the controversy, there are still those who believe in the Gulf Breeze sightings, little model spaceship and all.
This model was not what appeared in any of the photos. As far as Ed Walters and the other credible witnesses are concerned, I'm convinced that those are all real sightings.